Welcome back, learners. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you to our course, Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics, Module 7, Lecture number 31, based on Pricing Policy. Today, in this lecture, we'll be trying to cover basically 4 topics. The first topic which we'll be covering will be concept and definition of pricing. The second will be importance of pricing. The third will be the problems of pricing. And fourth and the final topic of this session will be related to objectives of pricing policy. So one by one, we'll be taking all these 4 topics. So moving to the first topic, that is concept and definition of pricing. In the dynamic landscape of managerial economics, pricing decision stands as the center point, as the most important point upon which the profitability, the market positioning and consumer behavior are based, which means in this current moving era of business, managerial economics, the pricing is the center point around which the other activities of business or firm revolves. In this module, we'll be discussing the pricing policy complications and strategies, exploring the different considerations that affect every pricing decision made by manager or related in the firm, which means we'll be covering different aspects of pricing in this session. From setting optimal price points to understanding the complexities of price discrimination, this module will equip managers or learners with the conceptual framework and analytical tools necessary to frame effective pricing strategies that align with organizational goals or objectives and market dynamics, which means in this session we'll be focusing on how we determine optimal pricing policy and the complications of pricing policy, and how with these strategies we are able to achieve the objectives, goals and stand in line with the market dynamics. By understanding the nuances of price elasticity, cost structure and competitive force in the market, the managers can devise pricing policies, which means that based on these strategies, pricing policies can be determined that not only enhances revenue or profit of the firm, but also fortify the company's competitive advantage in the changing marketplace, which means if the pricing strategy is adequate, it is an edge for the company and it helps to enhance or to produce more profit or revenue for the respective company and do better in their field. Which means, totally to summarize this slide, is that pricing is one of the most important element for any firm, and if the pricing is done in the adequate manner, it will help to generate good amount of revenue for the firm or organization. Moving forward, pricing is basically a process for setting up price for any specific goods or services, which means you try to determine the price for any specific good or services. An ideal or good pricing policy is of major importance for all stakeholders or the people related, such as customers, producers, wholesalers, etc. Which means if the pricing policy is adequate, it is a tool or a helpful aid for all the people such as customer, producer, wholesaler, etc. Pricing policy is the policy adopted for determining the price of the goods or services by any firm for a given period of time. Now this is very important. Pricing is a recurring event, which means the price keeps on changing from time to time according to the need and demand of the market by the respective firm. It is not certain, so pricing is for a certain period of time. It is not a constant. It keeps on changing from time to time. Moving to definitions, in words of Cundiff and Still, pricing policy provides the guidelines or the outline within which pricing is formulated and implemented. According to Converse, Hughie and Mitchell, decisions concerning price to be followed for a period of time is called price policy, which means it is for a certain period of time and after that it can be altered or changed according to the need and demand of the market. Moving ahead, now we'll be discussing the next theme, next topic, which is importance of pricing. So these are the different importance. The first is development of new product, as you are able to see, improvement in existing products, first impression, role in sales promotion, and profit generation. And last is flexible in nature. So one by one we'll be discussing all these points. The importance of pricing. The pricing plays a very relevant or important role for the existence and management of any firm, which means to stand in the market and to move ahead, the pricing plays a very important role. The first point is first impression of the product. The price is an important barometer for any product, even if he finally considers the features of the product before purchase, but still the price has relevance in customer's mind. If the product is overpriced, he will not purchase the product, which means whenever you quote any price of any product, that has direct impact on the customer, and based on that perception the customer decides whether to purchase any specific product or not. For example, if you quote price of any product and if the customer is not satisfied with the price, he or she might reject the product, and if the customer is very happy with the price, he or she will be purchasing that specific product, which means the first impression of the product is related to the price of it. The second is helpful in case of development of new product. In the era of tough competition, the firm may decide to develop new product, which means, as you know, the market keeps on changing from time to time. So sometimes the businessman or the firm may decide to enter into new segment or to launch a new product. So in such cases, the pricing plays a very relevant role to gain, develop a new product, to gain new opportunities. By launching a new product, you will be getting or you will be having new opportunities of the market. In such case also, pricing plays a very important role. If you are about to launch a new product and if you have adequately priced the product, it will be a big edge for that specific product, and there are more chances that the product will be doing justice in the market. Moving to the next point, that is improvement of the existing products, which means we are talking of those products in which you are already dealing. The pricing may also help in improvement of the existing product, which means the field or the sector in which you are already working, by adding more innovative features and reducing cost, which means if the cost is reduced, there are more chances that the company will be generating more revenue, more profit, which is a good situation for the firm. So in this slide, we have discussed 3 points. First being first impression of the product, which means price has a first impression of the product. The second is helpful in case of development of new product or launching of new product. And third is improvement of the existing product, which means the product in which you are already dealing. Moving ahead, profit generation. The pricing policy is an important tool for profit generation of the firm also. If the firm has adopted a good price policy according to the market, there are more chances that of profit generation for the firm, which means if the product is adequately priced, there are more chances, there are more frequency that the profit will be of good amount as per the expectations of the firm. So for profit also, the pricing is a very important factor. Next is flexible in nature. As I have already discussed, the pricing is flexible in nature, which means it keeps on changing from time to time as compared to other elements, which means if the price of any product is not constant, if you observe the different products of the market, the price of those products are changing from time to time according to the need and demand of the product. So the price is flexible in nature. Price changes with accordance to the need and demand of the market and of the customer or consumer, which means the price is not constant, it keeps on changing according to the need and demand of the market and the product. The next is role in sales promotion. Even in sales promotion, the pricing plays a very important role, as increase in the sale is one of the biggest or major objective of the firm through which profit can be maximized. If the sales is gradually increasing, the profit increases. By adopting optimum or pricing. Policy by the manager, the sales of the firm can be enhanced, which means if the product is adequately priced, it helps in sales promotion, and by sales promotion or increase in sales, at the end, the profit also of the company increases. So in this slide, we have discussed 3 points: profit generation, flexible in nature, and roles in sales promotion. Now, we'll be discussing the problems of pricing. But before moving further, as we have discussed the importance, in importance, it is easy to talk about the features of pricing, but there are certain challenges or problems being faced by different organizations. The basic challenges, as you are able to see in the slide, is first is of cost determination, certaining of cost, second is market dynamics, third is competitive pressure, next is price elasticity, channel conflicts, legal and regulatory compliance, product differentiation, and global considerations. So one by one, we'll be taking all these points and I'll be discussing it with you. The problems of pricing. The first is cost determination. The accurately determining the cost associated with production, distribution, and overhead expenses pose a significant challenge, which means exact determination of cost of any product is a big challenge for the firm or company which is dealing with it. Without a precise understanding or a good understanding of cost, setting profitable price points become inherently difficult, which means you need to have a good knowledge of the subject of cost, then only you'll be in a position to appropriately provide a cost to your product. So first is cost determination is the problem for pricing. The second is market dynamics. The fluctuations in demand or changes in demand you are able to see, shifts in consumer preferences and changes in market condition bring uncertainty into pricing decisions, which means, for example, if you have fixed any price for any product, for example, say 100 rupees, but if there is fluctuations in the market, that fluctuation is going to affect the price of that specific product. Adapting to these dynamic market forces while maintaining the profitability requires quick market analysis and strategic foresight, which means if there are fluctuations in the market, you need to understand those fluctuations and accordingly adopt to those changes and according to the changes, you need to have a good pricing policy. So market dynamics is also a big challenge or problem for pricing. The third is competitive pressure. Intense competition within industries can exert downward pressures on prices, resulting in a decline in profit margins, which means the competitive pressure or the competition which exists in the market also is a major challenge for pricing of the product. For example, if there are two organizations named A and B, and if the other organization B is reducing its price, A is sometimes forced to reduce its price as compared to the competitor B. So if the price is reduced as per the competitor, the profit margin here also reduces, balancing the need to remain competitive while preserving the profitability necessity strategic pricing tactics, which means you need to balance between the competition and preserve your profits and plan your strategies with good tactics so that you can stand in the market and generate adequate revenue. So in this slide, we have discussed three problems. First was cost determination, market dynamics, and competitive pressure. Moving ahead, the price elasticity, as we have discussed this topic in the previous lectures, understanding the price sensitivity of consumers and how changes in price impact demand are crucial for optimizing revenue. However, accurately gauging price elasticity can be challenged due to varying consumer behavior and market conditions, which means, as you are already aware, that market and the consumer behavior keeps on changing. So understanding the price elasticity and determining the price is also a big challenge for the firm. The next is channel conflicts. The firms operating through multiple distribution channels may encounter conflicts regarding price strategies. Ensuring consistency and fairness across channels while maximizing overall profitability requires adept management of channel relationships, which means the channels also through which the firm is operating also is a big challenge in pricing, and a effective manager needs to understand the market and frame a price policy accordingly. The next challenge is legal and regulatory compliance. Compliance with pricing regulations, antitrust laws and fair trade practices adds another layer of complexity to the pricing decisions, which means the legal laws also is a big challenge for any firm. According to those laws, the pricing decision is also affected. Failure to adhere to legal requirements can result in costly fines and damage to reputation, which means if you are not following the legal norms, it might result into costly fines or even damage to the respective organization. So in this slide, we have talked about 3 challenges: price elasticity, channel conflicts, legal and regulatory compliance. The next is product differentiation. Communicating the value proposition of products and justifying premium pricing in the face of commoditization challenges firms, which means different products and their pricing is different. It is a big challenge for the different firms. Effectively differentiating products based on quality, features and brand equity is essential for sustaining price premiums, which means effective pricing based on quality, features and brand equity is an important feature which needs to be maintained by a respective organization to attain good amount of revenue or profit for the firm. Next is global considerations. Firms operating in international market confront additional complexities related to currency fluctuations, tariffs and cultural differences. Developing pricing strategies that account for these global dynamics is essential for success in global marketplace, which means the companies which are dealing with global scenario or are dealing in international market, it is a big challenge for pricing those products according to the specific country or need. The topics such as currency fluctuations, tariffs and cultural differences play a very major or important role. So in this slide we have discussed two points, that is product differentiation and global consideration. By acknowledging and addressing these price challenges proactively, managers can enhance their abilities to formulate robust pricing policies and strategies that drive sustainable competitive advantage and profitability, which means if the manager is effective enough and is able to handle all these challenges, the company can generate good amount of profit and do well in the system. Now moving to the next point, that is objectives of pricing policy. As you are able to see on the screen, the first objective of pricing policy is maximizing the profit, surviving in the market, skimming the cream of the market, market penetration to face the competition, expand market share, brand image and positioning, customer value and satisfaction. We will be discussing all these one by one. The objectives of pricing policy. The following are the basic objectives of pricing policy. The first is maximize profit. The objective of pricing policy is to set up a price which would result in generating maximum profit, which is the basic objective of any organization, keeping in mind the market movements, which means the pricing policy should be in such a nature that you are able to generate good amount of profit, but you should also be considering the market movements, and if the price is not adequately priced, it might also result in a negative sense. So the objective is maximizing profit, but with a proper care it has to be done. The next is surviving in the market, is to survive in the competitive market, considering the changes in the market and making policies accordingly, which means the survival is one of the biggest challenge for any entity. So the pricing should be such in nature that you survive in the system, you survive in the business and also generate good amount of profit. So your pricing policy should be such in nature that it generates profit as well as you are able to exist in the market. The third is a very important one, skim the cream of the market. Sometimes the firm have objectives of attaining maximum profit from the market by selling their products at comparatively higher prices, which means there are certain firms or organizations which focus on selling their products initially at higher prices and gradually they decrease their prices. They try to take out the cream from the market. In the initial phase, they sell their products at high prices and gradually they decrease their prices. They try to earn maximum profit in the initial phase and then they gradually decrease the price when the substitute enters, which means in the initial phase they will be having high prices and gradually when the substitute enters they will be making the prices fall down. So skimming the cream of market is also an objective of pricing policy. In this slide we have discussed 3 points: maximizing profit, surviving in the market, and skim the cream of market. The next is market penetration. The objective of few firms is to enter the competitive market, so they keep the prices of the product or services comparatively low here, which means to enter into the market they adopt this policy, and in the initial phase they keep the prices comparatively low so that there is demand in the market for that specific goods or services, which means in the initial phase when they enter any business they keep the prices of their product comparatively low and gradually they can increase their prices. So market penetration. So next is to face the competition. The another objective of pricing policy is to be prepared for the competition in the market. The price is fixed considering the price and trend of the competitors, which means in this you need to understand the policies of the competitors, and according to those competitors you need to fix your price and trend and focus on the competitors. The next is expand market share. The firm objective or the objective of any organization is to expand or maintain its share in the market. The firms search for new market by keeping the prices low so that their market share can be expanded accordingly. So expanding of market share also pricing plays an important role. So in this slide, as you are able to see, we have discussed about market penetration to face the competition and expand market share. Brand image and positioning. Price policy plays a significant or important role in shaping the perception of a brand and its positioning, which means the image of that product in the mind of the customer or consumer. Premium pricing can be used to convey quality, exclusivity, luxury, and positioning the brand as upscale or high-end, etc. Which means premium policy can be used for products which are having good features. Conversely, value-based pricing strategies may be positioned the brand as offering affordable values for money, catering to price-sensitive customers, which means in the case of brand image and positioning also pricing plays a very relevant role. The next is customers' value and satisfaction. Effective pricing policy seeks to deliver value to its customer while ensuring profitability to the firm or for the firm. Pricing decisions should be aligned with customer expectations and perceived value, aiming to provide products or services that meet or exceed customers' need at a fair price, which means whatever price they are paying, they should be getting that level of satisfaction. This can contribute to customer satisfaction, loyalty in the future terms, and long-term relation with the brand. The objective of marketing people is to create long-term relationships or to have loyal customers, which can be attained through proper pricing policies. So in this slide, we have discussed 2 points, that is brand image and positioning, and customer value and satisfaction. In this lecture, we have discussed these 4 topics: concept and definition of pricing, importance of pricing, problems of pricing, and objectives of pricing policy, in which I talked about the importance of pricing, why pricing is a relevant concept for the market. And I also told you that pricing is not a fixed variable, it keeps on changing from time to time according to the need and demand of the market. Then I talked about the relevance of pricing in this slide. Then I gave you the definition of pricing in this slide. Then I talked about the importance of pricing, in which I discussed all these points, that is flexible in nature, development of new product, improvement in existing product, first impression, role in sales promotion and profit generation. I discussed all these with you one by one. Then I discussed with you the problems of pricing, in which it was cost determination, market dynamics, competitive pressure, price elasticity, channel conflicts, legal and regulatory compliance, product differentiation and global considerations. I discussed with you all these one by one, as you are able to see the slide. Then finally, I moved to the objectives of pricing policy. The objectives were to maximize profits, surviving in the market, skim the cream of market penetration to face the competition, expand market share, brand image and positioning, and finally, customer value and satisfaction. I discussed all these with you one by one. So these were the important points or the introduction to the pricing policy. In the coming lectures, we'll be discussing different aspects of pricing. But in this lecture, I tried to provide you a gist of pricing, and with these information, the manager can act as an important tool for taking important decisions related to pricing in any organization or firm. In the upcoming lectures, we'll be talking in detail about different aspects of pricing. Thank you, listeners, for patiently listening to our lecture. Thank you.